Boom.
Podcast twins.
Episode 5, baby. Here we are.
We're back.
Again.
So
what was that statistic you said about not making it past episode 3?
90% of podcasts do not make it past episode 3.
We're already
90% of those that survive 3 episodes don't make it past 20 episodes.
Oh, we're gonna blow that away so you can bank on that, brother.
That's only a few months. That's nothing.
That's nothing.
So we talked about what we're not going to talk about.
Right.
Which is we're not going to talk about how crappy service is.
Crappy service. You know what? Here's the deal. Customer service you get so used to not getting good customer service that when you do, it almost shocks you. That's where I am in the world right now. When I get good customer service, it almost astonishes me. And then you also look and say, wow, well, yeah, you're 43, 48, 50 years old. You grew up in an era where you understood a little bit of this good customer service thing. But when you get a youngster that actually gives good customer service, it blows you away.
Well, you know what? You got to take care of them. And you got to ask for them the next time you go back.
Yeah.
Because that person, and I know this, my wife was a server for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
She was a server at a high-end restaurant in West Palm when I met her.
Okay.
And that was about 11 years ago, roughly. And she would give amazing service.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have family gatherings, and she would serve us. And I saw how good the service was. And then she would get, an 8% tip. A 4% tip,
That's
a $10 tip.
Tough.
And, and then the opposite end was she would get a 25% tip,
mm-hmm.
and they would call and try and make a reservation and ask for her by name.
Right.
And if she wasn't there that night or on the schedule that night, they would pick a different night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. People could stand out if they just did a little bit
just
more.
A little bit more.
An average is really, really low. Oh. So if you're just like 50% above average, you're a superstar.
So my youngest daughter began working in the food business, in the higher end business during COVID because nobody wanted to work anymore. So they were able to take these people who were who had small history of working, and you were forced to put them in these 4 and 5 star restaurants.
You got to give them a chance because you got to have somebody.
You got to have somebody working. So they gave her an opportunity to move into that world, and I believe she was only 21 when she started working at this really exclusive place in Fort Lauderdale, and it was a real good deal. She learned a lot. She learned how young she was, but also too, she learned how to take care of these other people because they take care of you, how to improve your memory, because, you don't think about that. It's like, man, that particular place, they really didn't want you writing anything down, taking an order. It's like, man. So you had to be able to handle that, especially the drink orders.
And you can't get it wrong.
You can't get it wrong. And these are the things that she was forced to learn at a high-end restaurant at a very young age. So that did that. She's still in the food business now at 23, working at a very, very nice little breakfast lunch place. Amazing.
In Fort Lauderdale.
In Fort Lauderdale. Okay. And same deal. They love her. Mm-hmm. And now with these Yelp reviews and all of these other things and, customer service goes a long way. When she shows me some of these reviews and they're all saying the same thing, is like, wow, I'm just not used to getting this level of treatment anymore. Yeah. So they ask for her and all this other stuff. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, these people will wait if her section is full. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, to do that, because listen, nothing teaches you real good work ethic like serving tables and being in sales. You want to be an awesome person. You want to learn how to deal with no's and how to overcome any kind of circumstances. Be in sales and serve people's food. You will learn a whole lot about yourself.
Bartender, work at a hotel,
any of it. Customer service, where customer service is paramount. I used to go door to door. Greg and I, that's how we met.
Oh yeah.
We worked Kirby vacuum systems.
I remember. That was a few years before my time, but I remember the
still
guy
out there
knocking on the door.
They still do it today.
Okay.
They still do it today. They're still functional. And I'm gonna tell you, it's, you know, now he and I had very different circumstances. You know, family style. You know, he had his kids at that point. I didn't have kids at that point. So I just was covering rent. You know, in between, sure. I just got out of school, just got done playing ball, trying to go back and play, you know, minor league ball at that point. Mm-hmm. And so this was just something good to get me through. But when it came down to it at the end of the month, and I needed to get out there and get those machines sold, I understood how to do it because I was raised in the family business of dry cleaners. I was dealing with people from, you know, customer service from 8, 9, 10 years old. Mm-hmm. So I understood how to get out there and get it done where he had to get it done because he was truly the breadwinner for his family. So, but that experience, I tell anybody, I'm like, hey, you want to develop your kid? Put him out there. Yeah. Let him go get in one of these multi-level marketing things, and you know, and find out how it is when you have to be told no, and you still have to be able to continue to try to work and sell your product.
So I've been in sales and business development my entire career since I was 18. Really before that, when I started knocking on doors and saying, let me mow your lawn for $10.
Absolutely.
But 18, my dad was working for AutoNation.
Okay.
My dad's an attorney by trade. He was in the legal department at AutoNation in Fort Lauderdale. And he introduced me. I needed a job in between semesters at college. Yeah. And he introduced me to Kenny Graham, who was the GM of Maroney Chevrolet in Pembroke Pines. Okay. And I was in Aspen skiing for spring break because when you're a Florida kid and you go to Indiana, that's what you do for spring break. While everybody else goes to the sunshine, you go snowboarding. Right. So backwards. Mr. Graham called me and I was on the slopes and I said, look, you know, to be completely honest with you, I am in Aspen skiing, snowboarding right now. He goes, look, call me when you get back. You're going to fly in and meet with me and we'll find a position for you. So basically, as long as I didn't pee on his desk. Right. He was going to put me in some sort of job. So it was the weirdest interview of all time. I went in. His office is like the whole second floor, right? This place is huge, like 5 times the size of the room we're in now. He's got pictures with the president. He's got pictures with the governor. He's got pictures with professional athletes. They're all his clients. Yeah. So I said, you know, I'm full suit. Yeah. I'm 18. I don't know nothing. I go in. He goes, tell me about yourself. And I got nothing to tell, right? I just finished I'm finishing up my freshman year at Indiana. I'm studying business.
And I was skiing.
I spent, you know, the last couple summers as a grunt for a CPA doing all his billing and client relations and whatever grunt work he gave me. Right. And I told Dad I wanted to actually learn something this summer. So he said, go meet with you. And he's like, well, first of all, stop calling me Mr. Graham. Boom. And second of all, tell me what makes you think you can sell cars. And I thought about it for a second and I bullshitted my way into the answer the best I could at 18 years young. And I said, look, I don't know if I'll be able to sell cars or not. However, I can promise you I will outwork everybody you have here. And if I fail, it's just because I have no idea what I'm doing. Right. And he bought that and he hired me. Okay. And I sold cars that summer and I made more money than all my friends. But before I did that, I called my dad on the way home because he was at work, of course. Right. And I said, hey, Dad, I think I'm screwed. Yeah. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, you bit off more than you could chew. He got me a job. He's, you know, Mr. Graham, Kenny gave me a job, but he told me I got to go sell cars for the summer. Got to go get it. And, you know, it's an 85-hour-a-week job, which I didn't care. It was the summer and I'm coming home from school. I'll work, whatever. And I said, Dad, what am I supposed to do? And he said, look, you're going to be fine. Yeah. Explain. And he said, all you got to do is 3 things. Tell the truth, do what you say, and return people's phone calls. Ooh. Lost start. And he said, we live in South Florida. There's a bunch of scam artists and everybody's shady and nobody likes car salesmen. But if you tell the truth, do what you say, and return people's phone calls, you're going to be just fine. So the training back, and this is in 2000, 24 years ago, the training, first day, I finish my freshman year. I come home in May. I start on Monday, Sunday, whatever it was. They handed me, so I meet my boss, Bob, little Italian guy that never ate any food. He just chain smoked cigarettes.
That's it.
And
there's a lot of nutrients in those cigarettes.
He goes, all right, Greenie, because they call you Greenie. They don't even learn your name because people blow out of that job all the time.
Absolutely.
And he goes, all right, Greenie, take a stack of new Chevy truck brochures and take a stack of new Chevy car brochures. And this is before all brochures were online.
Right.
And he goes, read them. So when you're 18 and you read something 5 times, because they also told me, don't talk to a customer, don't talk to me, don't talk to the receptionist, don't talk to any of your salespeople. And by the way, if you talk to a customer, you're fired.
Right there.
So I spent 7 days, and this is a $400 a week draw against commission.
Yeah.
So if you don't sell no cars, you owe them money.
Yeah.
So I'm reading brochures for 7 days. I could tell you the torque in every Chevy vehicle and a whole bunch of other stats. And when people go buy a car, guess how many people care about how much torque is in the car?
Not one.
0.
Not one.
But
it's good to know.
So I'm sitting in there on the 8th day of work, and you work every day. There's no days off.
Yeah. You just cut.
8th day of work, and I called Dad, and I'm like, Dad, I gotta quit, man. I'm not gonna make any money. I already owe them $400.
Right.
And he goes, hang in there. I'm like, okay. So fortunately that day, I don't know if it was divine intervention or I had done something kind for somebody and karma was coming back, but we got a near tropical storm.
Okay.
It was not quite a tropical storm because then everything closes.
Right.
But we had some windy,
some good weather.
The skinny trees were falling down. The puddles were up to your ankles. There was some flooding.
Okay.
The dealership looked like a ghost town. You saw tumbleweeds rolling through the middle of this giant dealership. And in walks, and I'll never forget this woman's name. She was about my mom's age at the time, in her late 40s or early 50s or whatever. Mary Feeney.
Boom.
And my boss and the truck manager played rock, paper, scissors for who gets stuck with the idiot. Because all the salespeople were gone.
Yeah,
I was the only one left.
Right.
And I'm walking across, and so Marty, who was the truck manager, he looked like Humpty Dumpty a little bit.
Okay.
And he waddles over to my cubicle. And he goes, hey, Greenie, you got to up. And I said, okay, who are you and what's an up?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody taught you the lingo.
My name's Bart. My name's Marty.
Right.
I'm your boss right now.
Okay.
Up means go talk to that lady. I said, okay. So I'm excited now. But I'm walking really slow because I don't know what to say to this woman. So I go up and I say, hi, my name's Andrew D'Alberto. I'm a college student, not a car salesman. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me right now because I'm the only one here, but I'll try and help you as best you can.
Absolutely.
And she laughed. And
you had her.
She had a 15-year-old Chevy S10, which was those little pickup trucks.
Love those things in the 80s.
And the 2000 ones were really nice. I actually had gotten to go poke around in the cars a little bit. And I go, well, why do you like that car or whatever? I don't even remember. And she was telling me how amazing it is and how she's not even sure she wants to trade it in. I said, well, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to get keys for a test drive. But if you give me your license, I'll go get the new Chevy S10 and you can drive it. So I finally get the keys from Marty, who doesn't want to help me at all.
Of course not. You're green.
And I go, okay, I need the Chevy S10. And he's like, okay, take this one. So I go, I pull it down the garage ramp and I pull it under the awning because it's pouring still. And she gets in the driver's seat. I get in the passenger seat. And this woman proceeds to nearly kill me by flying through these puddles.
She got to test the truck out.
There was freaking rain, pools of water flying over our heads.
You got to test the truck.
And I'm just praying, right? I'm like, look, I don't care if I sell a car or not. I just want to make it back to the dealership in one piece. And I wind up going back and forth with the sales manager, and I trade in her car. I go over to get her car appraised by the used truck guy.
Right.
And he's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
He had no idea.
Hey, look, man, I'm nobody, but check this out.
But I sold her a brand new Chevy S10 She traded in her old Chevy S10. She referred me 9 people that summer.
Boom.
And I sold 8 of those 9 people a Chevy car.
See?
And a couple of them was like the Z71 Corvette. I sold the Z71 Tahoe. They had the Camaros that year. It was like the 50th anniversary of the Camaro, and I made a ton of money. I had fun, and my pitch for the next 3 summers did not change. My name's Andrew D'Alberto. I'm a college student. I'm not a car salesman. This is just what I'm doing for the summer. You know, I'll help you as best I can.
That's it.
And it was the truth, and it was genuine, and it came from a good place. And I did things, even though I was working for a car dealership, which we're going to throw them under the bus next. I had a great time, and everybody was happy.
But what you gave them was customer service, and honesty.
They didn't expect honesty.
And they didn't expect honesty.
They didn't expect honesty.
And the funny thing about that is, you know, because she came and told you what she loved about the truck. So you didn't sell her, you just allowed her to buy it.
Well, and you know,
you assisted her to buy the
truck.
Not
knowing what I was doing was my best attribute that day.
Absolutely, because she basically taught you about what's good about the truck.
She did not care how much torque was in that truck.
Not one.
Or what the gas tank capacity was, because I knew that too.
Didn't care nothing about it. She knew what she liked.
And she liked me, right?
And
like, let's face the facts.
We buy the person. And again, same thing with my daughter. Again, you know, I gave her a little trick. I said, every time you come to the table, make sure you either mention your name or ask them what your name is, because that is important. When they get to the point where they're calling you by your name, you got them. You got them. You're in. Especially when you're talking about a 1-hour meal.
So what happened at the dealership, man? Like, why? What was the circus going on there?
All right. So
you got You got a Lincoln. It's a nice truck.
Yeah,
you love it.
I love the Lincoln Aviator. Love it. Bought this vehicle. I bought the extended warranty.
He looks like you sound a little regretful. On
So because I never buy warranties.
Okay.
Never ever buy warranties. I usually don't. But this one, it just put it in a different situation. I knew prices of repair and replace was, especially on the Lincoln, can get pricey. So I took a chance. Whatever. Hey, we give you 2 free oil changes. You know, well, included. We know it's not free. You've already paid for it.
Ain't nothing free.
So I scheduled for last week. But I also told them, I said, listen, I think the tubes of my sunroof, once they get full, because I've had this happen in other vehicles, they need to be cleaned out.
So this car is fairly new.
Yeah, it's a 2-year-old car when I picked it up.
Okay.
So, only had 20,000 miles on it when I got it. So,
which is important because you drive a lot.
Exactly. So I told them, I said, look, I need and they said, well, that guy only comes on Friday, blah, blah, blah. So this past Friday, we were dealing with the storm, whatever. I basically canceled, came back. So I purposely waited all week long and went today, which is a Friday. And we went in there, and then I walked in and boom, this is what I need. I had an appointment last Friday, blah, blah, blah. The guys outside were fantastic. You guys outside were
Come on in. Let's help you out.
They were great. They took care of me. They took care of the vehicle, whatever. They did great. It was when we got inside. They went in there, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And then they said to me, who made the appointment? I'm like, why is that important? It doesn't matter. I have this warranty package. The guy said that he spoke with the person who does the repair, and you're a boss. Everybody agreed that this was going to be covered under the package. So they send idiot 1 out to talk to me outside, and he's like, so the sunroof repair is going to have to be an out-of-pocket expense. And so I'm relatively calm at this point. I've been to the gym. I've already, relaxed. And I said, no, that's why I came 40 miles out of my way to go to this location, because this is where that guy does the best work. Mm-hmm. As they told me, he does the best work on this type of deal. And he only comes on Friday at 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. So while I'm here, the oil change and the guy should be able to fit me in.
Because you already paid for the oil change.
Already done. This is prepaid. So they're not trying to talk about the oil because, you know, it's already prepaid. We don't care. So they send this guy. Now, mind you, the vehicle's purchased 6 months ago. 6 months.
New to Vince.
The guy comes back out and says, "Hey, man, my boss says that we don't cover that because any vehicle that was purchased over a year ago, you know, we don't." I said, "What vehicle are you talking about being purchased over a year ago?"
I'm not following.
You cannot be talking about me. This vehicle 7 months ago. This vehicle was purchased 7 months ago.
That's not a year. If you don't know math, that's not a year.
But here's this: the last transaction on this paperwork. I said, "Can I see what you're looking at?"
Not the right car.
No, it was the car. But that's when the car was brought in.
Okay.
So I went back there. The next transaction, I said, "See this date right here? That's me. That's me right here. Here's my mileage. Here's the date." Then I think I told you this exact mileage that I had. And I said, "Listen, first of all, how dare you come out here and tell me a bold-faced lie right in my face?" I said, "I'd rather you come out here and say, look, we don't want to fix the son bitch. You know, it's on you."
So you're no longer calm for the
No, at this point now I'm livid because I'm like, you've given me two pieces, whether you call it misinformation or a lie. I said, it sounds to me like you or your boss or the combination of the two of you are trying to blow me the hell off. And I said, I feel massively disrespected right now. I said, I'm not an idiot. First, you come out here telling me the car was purchased over a year ago. You didn't even know the damn date that it was purchased. And you the one got the inside of it. And you so busy asking me who set the damn appointment. I don't care who set the appointment. I don't care. But I said, but I tell you what, that individual made the phone call to the person who did the repair, who was supposed to do, and because we were on the phone for almost 25 minutes. I said, now granted, I didn't write the guy's phone number down. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, not the phone number, but his name. I said, but you mean to tell me it's nothing in the system that under my phone number? Well, we didn't. That's your fault. So what are we doing? I said, the guy was like, my boss said, I said, well, your boss is an idiot. So since he sent you out here to lie, why don't you send him back out here? Now I'm going way off. I'm dropping F's. I'm going in. I'm going in like that. You can see them with 911. They're ready to call the police because I'm cranking. Because I'm like, dude, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna lie? You're gonna just? I said first, but then I said I'm still under factory warranty. He was like, no, you. Yes, I am. I said the factory doesn't run out until the end of November, and I'm still under the mileage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it to Lincoln. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take care of it myself. I said, but you guys work on reviews, and yeah. I said, be sure to send me the link for the review. I said, I'm going to make sure. I said, but I won't forget your name, and I won't forget your name. I said, those guys are awesome. So I got a whole list of stuff out there in the car that I'm gonna be blasting. But again, customer service. So they eventually took the vehicle to go do the oil change because after I kicked his ass out of here, I'm like, man, you better get the hell out of my face. At this point, right now,
go away.
You're going to make this turn really ugly.
Time to go away
because you are trying to defend whether it's his lie or yours, or your inadequacy, because you damn sure didn't read this paper in your hand. Get the hell away from me. So anyway, he went away. I told the other guy who came out. Just at least do the oil change that I already paid for. And so I'm doing that and waiting. 45 minutes go by. Oil change. And so one of the other outside guys came up and was like, hey, man, did they work something out with you? I said, man, I'm just sitting here patiently waiting on this oil change. This must be the best oil ever produced in the United States of America.
They better be drilling for it right
He said, you know what, brother, let me go back there and get it for you. It's got to be done. He walks back there, and sure as shit, he pulls out. Here's right around, car. Pulls up front, and now everybody comes running out of the office because they see me stand up. And he's like, hey, man, whether, that was on us. So I said, no, I'd already prepaid for it in my warranty package. Let's get the terminology right. Y'all can call it free if you want to. He was like, you want a receipt for it? I'm like, yeah, I already paid for it, so I'm good. And then he was like, I want to apologize. I'm like, why are you apologizing? I said, did you do anything wrong? I said, I don't need an apology from you. I said, those two sons of bitches that's sitting in that office that's scared to death to walk out here right now, they the ones that should be apologizing. I said, you haven't done anything to me. You've been great. You and those guys over there, man, you guys are phenomenal. So I took all their names and put it down there. I said, but the two scary some bitches that's inside of there right now, they the ones that should be apologizing. He was like, well, I want to apologize for the company. I said, you're not Maroney, are you? You're not Maroney. You're not part of this. You're not an Arrigo guy, right? Or whatever. So anyway, so I was very, again, customer service disappointed, by these people who just literally got used to telling you anything like you're an idiot. I'm supposed to, because you went inside an office, I said, man, look, I used to work jobs too where I had to be the closer and pretend like I'm on the phone with somebody. What, boss? Really? You're going to do that for them? Hold on, let me tell them. Blah, 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 blah. He says he's going to be able to give you this deal. Isn't that great? How can we earn your business today? There's nobody on this line. So I'm like, dude, so it's either you coming up with the BS lie, or what would be even worse is if that idiot who's above
comes
you
and does it too,
is the one that's producing this BS lie. I'm like, man, but either way, do you think I'm coming back here? And they were like, well, and so the fellas was over there like, I wouldn't come back here.
I wouldn't bet on it.
And they weren't here. Anyway, man, it was.
Don't put your money on Vince going back.
Yeah, it's terrible. So rest assured, by Tuesday, it will not only be refied out of that loan that I got from them because the rates are better right now. Oh, yeah. But that service package will be canceled, and I'll get a refund back out of that. So I'm so disappointed because I searched, and I really didn't want to go that far from my house to get the vehicle. I didn't.
Yeah, I get it.
But it was the right deal. The numbers was right. The mileage was right. Everything was what I wanted. So I made that sacrifice and did it. And the first day I got it, had a check engine light. That's fine. Hey, whatever. Y'all didn't check it out. Great. Take it back to them. Literally, I drove it home. And the very first thing the next morning, straight down there.
Okay.
I had it less than
24
16 hours.
16 hours, okay.
Because I got it that evening, brought it back first thing in the morning for a check engine light. 7 days later, so I brought that up while I was out there with the guys, and the guy said, I told y'all that was that car. He was the one who took it because their warranty package said I got to bring it there. They took it to Lincoln. I'm like, well, why the hell I couldn't? No, they didn't give me a loaner.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, man, I was so pissed off. But again, nobody cares about the customer service. I called them every single day. And I'm like, hey, at least tell me what the diagnosis is. But we can't. Why? But then by day 3, they was like, well, something we couldn't do here. We had to take it to Lincoln. I'm like, well, I could have did that 3 days ago. I said, I want to go pick it up. Well, we can't do that. You gotta go. We gotta wait for us to bring it back here.
Yeah, and we were actually no. Go ahead, finish.
No, man, it was so it literally took, but that was the first day. So I'm already salty with this service department with their service contract that's supposed to be amazing for 100,000 miles. I'm like, I'm not doing this for 100,000 miles. I'll let the whole damn thing go without that before I come back here again.
Yeah.
So no, I'm flipping the whole thing out. So that's my fault. But
lesson learned.
Okay. So
no, I mean, look, I deal with a lot of different vendors all over the country from my job, from my business, and I tell you, the ones that have great customer service, I look to them for their products first because I know my stuff is going to be delivered on time. It's going to be good quality. The clients are going to love it. I mean, when we did your golf tournament, Dawn already knew which products were good products because we had used them in other golf tournaments. So, when you get
30-second decision
on the flip side of things, when you get a vendor or a service company or a professional services company or a landscaper or a plumber that has really good customer service, if they can tell the truth, do what they say, and return your, and I'll expand it, phone call, text or email, right?
Contact.
You got to communicate. Right. So we could just say communicate as rule number 3.
And I think that that's what we're suffering from now, because why don't we communicate? Because we're doing this.
It's because everybody needed my dad to tell them those 3 things.
Yeah.
I believe
they're here.
That advice was so good, he forgot that he gave it to me.
Because it didn't mean nothing.
And
it was natural to him.
Everything to me, though. But when I was a banker, I did it.
Yeah.
When I was a headhunter, I did it. And now that I'm doing the swag and apparel and promotional items and everything that I do it again. And if you do those 3 things, you're good. You're top 1%, I would argue.
I agree, especially in today's world where eye contact is a problem. The ability to hold a conversation is a problem. And what do you? Wait a minute. You want me to be here at 9 every day? Every day? Like, okay, we don't get out early or something like that, or I'm like, man, the expectations. I'm like, where did we go wrong as parents somewhere in this world, not preparing these kids for real life? And I can go back and tell you my mistakes, because my kids are now Gen Z.
And you're not perfect either.
Not perfect either. Right. But again, they're still way better than some of this other product that I see out here. And again, but they still got a long way to go. But a lot of these sub 30s at this point, they literally cannot hold a conversation, like, period. And I'm like, this is scary.
I got the solution, because I can tell you that I'm 43 in a couple weeks, and I have friends that are 20 years older than me. Mm-hmm. I have friends that are 10 years older than me. I have friends that are 10 years younger than me. And I can tell you that the 30-somethings that can carry on a conversation, a lot of them I met through the game of golf.
Ooh.
So I think you should be playing golf, you should be playing tennis, you should be doing some sports or musical instrument or something that gets you out from behind this, as you say, or that, as you say, and gets your body moving. It gets your endorphins going in a positive way. It gets you interacting with other human beings of different ages.
Okay.
That's my answer. That's my solution. Well, I don't have a better one, so I'm going with that.
I like it. Then we're talking about exposure, because a lot of these kids have never been exposed to the game of golf.
Hey, that's why First Tee of Broward
exists. That's why First Tee of Broward exists. So, I mean, look, we can do a lot, but it's a mentality. Because, I mean, listen, now, even in the fire service, man, we're getting kids that's coming in this game, because you have high schools now that's offering these programs while they're in high school. So when they graduate, they're pretty much waiting to turn 18 so they can go take their state exam. We're getting kids that we're hiring at 18 and a half, 19 years old, coming to work with old farts like me, and it's like, wow, how do you, where's the relation? How do you relate? But I'm like, look, I think the best thing that happened to me before I went into that business, I had real life experience before I got into something so serious, where they're coming, they literally are still at home, still on mommy's, dollar, dime. And so even what's funnier, that particular day when I was buying that vehicle, I saw a kid at a Chevy dealership. He had on a shirt or a cap that I recognized from my department, and him and his parents were out looking at this Chevy 3500. This was $100,000 vehicle.
That's a big monster truck.
$100,000 vehicle. The kid is home. He's young. He couldn't have been more than 22 years old at the very most. He hasn't been on the job but for a hot minute. And but they're going to help him get in this vehicle because they want him happy. Instead of saying, man, why would you get this vehicle before you got your place? Man, you know, but again, this is the thought process. Hey, but the kid went through the whole thing. He got hired. He's been on the job. He's not making enough to support $100,000 truck, but he can do that because he's living in your house. Mm-hmm. So again, but that's the relation difference. You know, when I came into the fire service, man, I had 3 kids, a wife, a house, multiple places.
The bills keep coming.
They never stopped.
No matter what. Yeah, of course.
You know, so, but again, that's the difference. I think that this generation is just not as prepared. They're smarter in a lot of technical ways, for sure. But I think it's just the common sense because they don't have to think. They don't have to adapt. They didn't have to go outside without it being an official play date. Okay. Which blew my mind when I first got initiated with the term play date.
Well, everybody talks about the problems, and I've heard all of those arguments, the participation trophies and all the other stuff.
Don't start me on that.
You know, lowering the standards in schools to the lowest common denominator and making it easier to pass and get good grades and changing the goalposts, so to speak.
Right.
But let's focus on the solutions. Okay. What are the solutions to? And I gave you the best one I could come up with.
So I will keep staying in my business. And the hard part is that, you know, because they've come into this business with no life experiences. When somebody does them wrong, they're used to yelling mommy or daddy, and somebody comes and save them. Well, now that's what the department has kind of, not just the department, the business itself has shifted to. Mm-hmm. Where we used to make rookies earn it, you know, used to make them earn it, come in and, you know, do the grunt work and whatever, earn your way. Well, they don't want to do that no more because now they'll just go and report you and now you're in trouble for doing absolutely nothing. But so the solution is for our generation to not be afraid of developing these people.
Okay.
That's what the real solution is that the parents, the parent,
we gotta kick their asses.
Sinek has a great thing he talks about on the podcast, SINEK.
Simon Sinek.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. He talks about hiring millennials and how he's like, it's not their fault, it's ours. You know, and how to manage and develop and teach them because it didn't happen at home, but now he was talking about from the corporate perspective, how to integrate them because you need them.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can quote Simon Sinek, I'm going to quote Dana White.
I think that's a little opposite, but okay.
Because what Dana White says is any of these kids in that age range, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, and I think you're probably on the same page. I don't want to speak for you, but he says that the 1 out of 25 that's a savage, that will get up earlier, try a little harder, the work ethic that our parents taught us, essentially, are going to absolutely steamroll everybody else.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts, but
see, we went from cynic to Dana.
But
now.
that doesn't solve the overwhelming problem.
Well, you can only control what you can control, just like eating real food, right? So I can only control my household. Maybe I can influence some of my really close friends or my cousins, or, you know, like I'm not going to be able to.
You can't ignore those other 24 bodies.
Well, that's why you do what you do with the Kappa Alpha Psi Foundation, right?
But I'm saying they're still in the workforce right now, using Simon Sinek's analogy. So if that one is a superstar and he's off and running, I'm not really worried about that kid. He's gone. But because you need the bodies to come in to run your corporation. They have the degree. They have this. They're ready to start. How do you make them relevant and comfortable and literally adapt the company to fit them, as opposed to back in the day you had to come in and fit the company. And he has a lot of very interesting takes on that. Do I agree with all of them? As a man my age, I agree with hardly none of them. But I am forced to kind of understand where he's coming from, because he's like, if we hold with this hard ass standard, you're not going to they'll be gone. They're not going to last their first year. And so he was putting up, it was an amazing, I think it was on Tom Bilyeu's podcast. But that was I watched that like 2 times, and I just was like, am I really listening to this? But it is necessary, because again, if you don't bring them in and take care of them, you really won't have the bodies to support the work that you need to have supported.
So then, with that all being said, do you feel like it's a balance, like everything else in life is a balance, where we maybe can't be as tough as we want to be, but they got to get tougher? And there's a marriage in the middle there somewhere. Or am I off base?
No. So here's where you talked about the Kappa Foundation. We're trying to capture those kids before they get out there.
Okay.
So I'm quick with drawing the line in the sand and saying, well, I can't worry about these kids. I got to go from here down. And so
that we're on to Gen Alpha at this point.
Whatever the new alphabet is, right? So because I have to cut them off and go backwards, because if we don't start developing this group all the way down to my GPIP's age,
which is
start bringing them up 3 years old, and start bringing them up into a world where the word no is not the most devastating thing that they've ever heard. So again, if you that's so somehow being able to get the home life, get men to man up.
There you go.
And to really be in that household, because again, as a single dad, I couldn't really raise my daughters to be a woman, but I can make sure she was a great girl. And I had to bring in outside other influences and whatever she could draw from other people while in my care to get that womanhood scenario taken care of, and vice versa. As you heard me say, a woman can raise a really nice male, but she can't raise a man. It's just certain idiosyncrasies that her brother would have to come in and help out her dad, or these other things, because manhood is an experience, and it's something you have to go through to get it. And she's never going to be able to do that. She can try her best. God bless him. But truth is that's a reality of it. So yeah, we're trying to matriculate this all the way back down to either the child and getting them to change their brain, or having the parent to understand what it is that we're trying to do. It's just like, hey, it's great. Come Saturday morning at one of these parks out here, it's full. Football season. Everybody's out there rooting for little Timmy. Everybody's going crazy. But what happens when Timmy brings an A home?
Nothing.
Good
job.
Not expected, even. Right? Not even. But
it's just expected.
But when he scores that touchdown this coming Saturday, we're going to have pizza. We're going to do all of this other stuff. So I know where I'm getting my reward center from. School is all right. Man, I busted my ass. I got an A, and they was like, oh, good job. But when I scored that touchdown, they celebrated.
For lunch,
they made
ice cream,
put my face on the T-shirt. Now we're out there the next week. We had pizza, ice cream, the whole thing. But when I brought my best grades home, it was like, oh, good job. Do it again. We got to figure out how to reverse that mindset.
That's a good point.
And not that school is the end all be all, but it's closer to getting you where you want to be, versus the one out of every 100,000 kids that's going to play a professional sport. And at least get a taste of a professional sport, not even be successful.
Well, I think we can go deeper in this on future podcasts.
Okay.
But before we wrap this one up, what's this shirt you got on, Vince?
Oh man, this is one of my guys, man.
It's not Victoria's Secret, it's Victoria's Secret Society. So what is this all about?
It's one of my buddies, Felix Quintella, man. He's launching this new brand out here, and this is a pretty cool t-shirt. Great quality shirts, by the way. By the time we put this out, I'll be able to tell you where you can get them from.
Okay.
But as of right now,
check the link below.
Yes, because check the link below, because he does have a store out there. But I can tell you, it fits great. It's a great quality shirt. So hey, good job, brother. Keep it up.
And that's how we're going to wrap this one up.
That's it.
We're going to talk about who the heck knows what on number 6.
Yeah, because we just got a whole bunch of more stuff we're not going to talk about.
I'm fire you up again. All right. Catch you next time.
Peace out.